In this video, I am going to show you what your options are once you are happy with the amount and colors of yarn you have in your paper plate weaving, and how to take it off if that is what you so choose. So your first option that you could do, and if I would have done this, I probably would have not done the really thick marks, is I could have decorated this plate before I even put this on here. So I could have made some designs in the background. It would probably be easiest to do before I even started weaving. So maybe you'd like to save that for something later after you kind of start getting the hang of it, but it always is something you could do, is decorate the plate, and all you'd have to do is finish this weaving to a spot where you felt it was done, and then you will just tie it onto a string. Actually, I'm going to go one back because it's kind of easier to leave a little slack so you can tie it a little better. So I'm just going to knot that on there. I'm going to knot it one more time just to be double safe, so you don't want to go through all that work and then it start falling apart. And then I can cut off the extra. So if that's where you wanted to stop and you had decorated your paper plate and you wanted to maybe punch a hole in it and have it as a wall hanging or just some sort of decoration, that's totally an option. Otherwise, if you want this to come off, what you need to do is cut all of these strings off and then tie them together just like we did with the cardboard weaving. And like the cardboard weaving, it'll be easiest to do in sections, because if I cut these all at one time, the chance that some of these yarns could start falling off is high. So I'm just going to do two at a time. So I'm going to take these two, cut them off, double knot. Cut these two, cut them as close to the paper plate as you can. The shorter they are, the harder they are to tie. And done. I want to do this to every one to make sure that all my pink yarn on the outside stays on there. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, this part would start slowly coming off and it would fall apart. Now, since we did an odd number, we're going to end up with one extra since we're tying them in twos, but that is no problem because you can cut this one off and then just tie it to one of the ones next to it. It really won't matter. Or you could take just the yarn itself and tie it into just the knot just from that gray piece of yarn. So then it's so now I have one in the back that needs to be cut for it to come free. That one, same thing. I am going to cut off all that extra, but I can't just let it go. So I'm going to put a tiny little knot in the back also. This one gets a little tricky, so if you need help, let me know. But if I put that little knot back there, that should help it stay together, and then just don't cut off the knot. So from there, I could cut all these off now without cutting the knot, and then it could be a coaster. You can kind of curl them up a little, especially if they started getting a little bigger, and it could be kind of a little bowl or something to hold. It could be a hat for your pet, I don't know. Or what I like to do with them is, if I had kept my strings a little longer, is make them into dream catchers. So if you tie two of them together as like a handle and kept the rest long, you could have a little dream catcher to hold. Those are just a few options of things that you could do once you finish your paper plate weaving.